Today's episode sponsored by Generic Puffs.
Yeah, if only.
Great value puffs. So thank you, Walmart. You did.
He did.
You didn't sponsor. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. This episode is about an art opening at the Wausau Museum of Contemporary Art. It was the International Biennial Portrait Competition 2023. Kara was a part of it. She had 2 paintings in it. So good job, Kara.
Yay, thank you.
And we recorded the show, meaning we went around, looked at all the pieces, videotaped. Yeah, I'm 80s for sure, videotape.
Oh, you're dating yourself.
I am sorry, everybody. Once again, oldest guy on YouTube. But it is a video about an art opening, the whole speech, awards stuff, because a lot of people, they'll go to an art museum, see the art, say, oh, it's pretty art. They don't really go to the opening where a lot of the artists are. They talk about the art. The person who curates it talks about the art, why he chose certain things. And it's really neat just to see how other artists look at their art, how artists look at other artists' art, and a look into the brain of why some people like the art and choose the art and talk about the art.
You're giving the general public a little insight into what happens in an artist's reception.
Yes, so here is the International Biennial Portrait Competition and the full speech and everything like that. So enjoy.
This is kind of weird. We haven't, we've been closed for a while because of demoing the upstairs for renovations and all that type of thing. So I feel like I've been kind of, like this is all brand new again. So I apologize. I've got to kind of gather myself up here. So I want to read to you something that Aaron wrote. Aaron Sidorenko, if you haven't looked Aaron up, and I hope you have, Aaron is just a phenomenal painter's painter in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And he was gracious enough to take the time to help curate this show. So you can call him, you can email him. He is very approachable. We have one of his works, a 6 foot by 6 foot oil on canvas here in our permanent collection. And he agreed to this jury. And it's the first time that we've ever done one where the juror wasn't here physically. So it was really interesting. It was kind of neat the way that we ended up working together and having great conversations about each piece. And like any painter knows, art speak, sometimes you really hunger for it. You need that in your life. You need other artists to talk with you about real things in your paintings. Not as a viewer, but as another qualified painter that understands the difference between, this level or this level of where people are in their own personal journeys as a painter. So it was really, it was fun working with Aaron, and he was just a wealth of knowledge. And if you look at his work, you'll see what I mean. So he wrote to me, notes on judging art. Well, first he starts off with howdy. So and I told him I'm going to do this in my best Alberta ease possible. He let me know that hard R's, everything hard R's. So I'm going to try. No, I'm not going to do that. Howdy. Notes on judging art. How? Skill in color, value, composition, scale, subject, mood, visceral response, identifying with, relatability, transcendence, idealistic, gravitas, political, apolitical, reform, identity, empathy, worldly, a touch of on some, a focus on one, all weighed, measured, and felt through the unbelievable quality of submissions in this year's exhibition. So there's your round of applause from a phenomenal painter. Everyone in the show, we agreed, is worthy of a Best of Show award. So this was not an easy task. Oh, I just kind of got goosebumps here. A great honor and Herculean task of picking winners for this great event put on by Mr. David Hummer and his museum, whose mission is to celebrate the greatest of genres, the human figure, arguably the biggest draw on any of the great museums. But here with a singular focus in what is to be human as seen through the eyes and or body language of the artists and their sitters. The doing of this show, and hopefully those to come, will wedge the figure back into the greater conversation of art and the condition of the human experience with all its simple and complex facets. In this we are all fighting the good fight, in doing what matters, not just for us, but hopefully bring those that may have not yet experienced what it is to stand in front of a Rembrandt or Vermeer and transcend time and distance and feel what they felt whilst trying not to lose your shit, blubbering away in front of the rest of the onlookers. Cough. I heard somewhere this happens. Congratulations again to all of you, wonderful talents, for doing such a tectonic job. I love you all for the magic we get to share. Aaron, neat guy. So, I have to sit down. I don't know why I just got emotional there, but it's like what he has to say really rings true. And it's one of those things that if you don't get it, I hope you pay attention to art long enough in your life until you can feel that. Because it's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. I have 8 honorable mentions. First I want to say this. We have 17 states and 7 countries represented here. And I'm going to list Mexico, Poland, Ireland, Netherlands, Canada, and France. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Florida, Connecticut, New York, Maine, Utah, California, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Missouri, Minnesota, Colorado. Pretty well represented segment of the United States, from coast to coast and down south and all points in between. 8 honorable mentions, and again, we could have gone on and on with these, but an honorable mention goes to O'Keeffe, The Study by Julianne Yonker. If you don't know Julianne, look her up, because she's not only a phenomenal painter, an artist, photographer, multi-talented, but she is just this beautiful ball of light and energy, and you can't help fall in love with this woman. So look her up, chat her up. Elena Dagenhart from France, for She Wondered and Waited, which is a very tiny soft pastel behind the piano, 6.5 inches by 7 inches. Elena has exhibited here before, and her work always has this slightly dark side to it, this slightly dark feeling. And even though that's in color and multiple colors and everything, it still has that edginess to it. It's a beautiful little piece. Nicole Woodruff from Utah for Tension. That's the oil painting. I believe it's the only nude in the show. And it's right over here when you first walk in around the corner. Nicole is really up and coming too. She's gaining a lot of traction and she gets a lot of press. She's definitely someone to watch in the figurative world. And obviously someone who is more prone to, the photorealism, going photorealism, if not hyperrealism, into the future. But whether that's your ilk or not, she's definitely someone to watch. Kelly Bergenruth. Kelly is from Connecticut. She's got a piece right over here called Beautiful Boy. That's a tiny little oil on panel, and it's quite nicely done. One of the things that Aaron and I look for in good painting is the treatment of edges. One of the things that, in mentioning to see a Rembrandt in person, one of the things that, if you don't know this about Rembrandt, is he was such a master of implied edges. So, because my cheek and jawline doesn't stop right here because that's what you stop seeing. It's continuing, right? I can come this way and grab underneath my jaw, right? My cheek keeps going. It's going around the back of my head and hey, hi over here, So 3-dimensional implied edges, and so that's something that a lot of painters, it takes years to figure that out, that I can make a mark right here and just let her go. And I'll get back to that when I'm good and ready, while I'm painting over here and making marks. Oh, it's time. Well, now I'm going to come back in with my background over here. And then, it's still going there. And this is still happening. And this is still going. And then it comes this way, and it's this way, and it's going this way. And sooner or later, as those two things, the marks and the movement and the hue and the value are fighting for that definition there, an edge is created. And it's really easy to talk about, and it's really easy to see in an accomplished painter's work, but it's a whole other ballgame when you try to do it yourself. And so the edge work in that painting is awfully tasty, and there are many pieces in this show like that are very Rembrandt-esque, if I may. Anastasia Fender. Anastasia is from Texas, actually Flower Mound, which is the same city as Barbara Hack. And Barbara's got a couple pieces in here, and is exhibiting with us. Anastasia's exhibited here before, and she's quite wonderful. The piece that gets the honorable mention is called Education. It's a 30 by 20 oil in that room of the 2 children laying back in the flowers. Honorable mention to Carla Myrick of Wisconsin, specifically Wausau, Wisconsin. Do you know Carla? No? really neat person. She did the painting called First Birthday, of the little boy with the cookie with the nuclear explosion going on behind it. She was pretty much disowned by her family for that painting. Her daughter, who allowed her to paint her grandson, when she saw the painting, she said, "You are a sick, sick grandmother. Don't even talk to me." I said, "Yes, Carla, you did it." Now that's a response. That is from the gut. That's what it should do. It should make you very uneasy to look at that painting, because this is the world that we're leaving our children, you know. Anyway, Daria Solar from Poland gets an honorable mention for Jenny Mendeleev. And Daria is pieces over by the piano. It's another one of these kind of socio-commentary on what our children are growing up with. The girl's taking a sip out of what's labeled as a toxic drink. Daria has exhibited here previously too. And the nice thing about seeing artists again and again and again from around the world that are in these exhibitions is there's no surprise that they're here again, because they're not one-trick ponies. Their work, if you look at their work, there's depth to it. They consistently hit it out of the park. Anybody who paints knows how difficult that is to do consistently. And then last but not least for the honorable mentions is Matthew Alfonso Durante from California with his acrylic. Yes, that's an acrylic of Pan, 6 inches by 4 inches. So I tell you what, blown away. Both myself and Aaron, we looked at it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. And it's so tasty. Every 1/16 of an inch of what you've done is brilliant.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely, and I'm speaking for Aaron here too. Absolutely brilliant. That little thing could just as well be 8 foot by 10 foot. That's how much strength that little piece has. So thank you for entering that. Second place, and I wish she was here. She's exhibited here before. Quite a few times actually, and I always sing her praises because I personally am just in love with her mark making and her ideas about painting, and almost fantastical but still real Patricia Schaffler. This is one of her paintings. It's called Madrigal, and it's part of a series that she's working on, and that's why it's not for sale yet. This is something that goes all the way back to college days, where professors would tell you, paint what you love. If you paint what you love, no one else will be more intimate about that subject and be able to tell you about those things better than you, because no one else is looking at it like you do. You're in love with it. Paint what you love. You can tell that in New Hampshire she is surrounded by these things that she's absolutely in love with, and consistently, again, like Matthew's piece, every 1/16 of an inch of her paintings, she fully understands that, look, I've decided that my piece is from this corner to this corner, this corner to this corner. How am I treating it? Everywhere. Every edge is fired. Every corner is fired. There's so much going on that it's mind-boggling, and she pulls it off so successfully every time. I forget, I think I was a juror in one of these shows just before COVID hit, and I think I did give her an award. She didn't get Best of Show, and I can't remember who I gave it to. But she's always right up there. That's another one of her pieces right over here. So check her out, and I tell you what, tell your friends, all your friends, not only to buy your work, but tell them to buy other artists' work. Clue them in. You can be a little broker here. Clue them in as to who to watch. Watch Benji. There are there are artists that are so phenomenal that you can buy right now for $1,000, $2,000, $10,000 that, you know, number one, buy it because you love it, but number two, you're going to be so happy you did, because I tell you what, it's never going to get that cheap again. You know, none of these works will ever be this inexpensive again. So I expect to have a few checks written tonight. I'm just kidding. But it's true. Last but not least, the best of show. Are you ready for this? Can I have a timpani, please? So this is, it's a $1,000 cash award, but it also comes with a $4,300 full-page color ad in Fine Art Connoisseur magazine. Remember when I was talking about Rembrandt just a little while ago?
Yes.
Okay, good, because there's going to be a test at the end of this, and no one gets out of here. Okay, so this person really has not only gotten it, but their paintings just embody something that is very Rembrandt-esque. And when I teach, it's what my teaching has been all about for the last 12 years. Painting is mark making, you know? And I tell you what, when you start to understand that 99% of it is value, 1% is hue, you can start playing with those things and interchanging and making marks. When you've got your entire tool belt on and those things are given, the real painting starts. When you don't think about value and color anymore, and your paint, because you know them inside and out, right down to your little toenail, you just know these things, and then all of a sudden, 5,000 paintings later, this stuff just comes like it's just part of you. You know, it's there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna load this up, and because this is what I want, and I'm not going to apologize, and I'm not going to do anything about it except make that mark and leave it there for you to look at. Because that's how good I am. And that's not being arrogant. That is being so confident and accomplished and you should have a little arrogance, because it takes a lifetime. It takes a lifetime, and we all know that. We're all learning, we're all on this path together that, you know, we're trying to get somewhere for ourselves personally, and we don't really have to know what that is or what that looks like, and that's probably the scariest thing about painting, is not knowing what that path looks like, where we're going to be going. We're all headed there, and we're all learning. I know that many artists, many of my contemporaries teach to lose your fear. Know your stuff, do the work, and make the marks, okay? And like Andy Warhol once said, all that matters is work. I remember 35 years ago, I had a professor that said, the train of opportunity might stop for you 30 times in your life. That's great for you. For some people, it only stops one. Are you ready to hop on? Are you ready? You know, be ready, do the work. So that's for all the younger artists in this room. It's very important. So, Elena, congratulations, you took Best of Show. Aaron, we're blown away with your paintings, and you have shown here before, and I have always been a fan. And I tell you what, you know, even though it was you, she still knocked it out of the park. Jake is her husband, and I hope you have a sense of humor. But it's again, scale isn't always everything. And in this case, the scale of it actually adds to just how powerful that painting is. Because it just wants to rule the room. And I had a feeling, I didn't know that Aaron was going to select that as Best of Show. I had hung that before because I felt it was Best of Show. And I put it on that wall. It commands that wall. It needs a wall like that. That's not a sofa painting. So I want you to come up here and talk about your painting. You're wonderful. So, Elena?
I'm an artist from Tennessee, based in Tennessee, but I'm from Ukraine, and for maybe 15 years I was working as an architect. I studied a lot of anatomy and drawing during this architectural school. When I moved to America, I had this great spotter, my husband, and I started with different workshops because this is what I would like to do, like paint portraits. It was from childhood. I always drew faces and like, what else can I say? I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Mark making, it's a very good phrase. When I paint, I like this painting, because it's about mark making. And yeah, when you feel that you need to like splash it, and if it's not like in real life, if it's not like, but you feel that it's supposed to be there, and it will complete the painting. You just do it. Like all shapes, it's just mark making. Like, I don't know how to explain. Maybe my English is not really good, but yeah, it's all brushwork, or maybe even not brushwork. Maybe it's something different, like fabric, like clothes, or I started to dig in this rubber stretch stuff. So I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for understanding like all this mark making concept.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, there are people out there that understand. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep it up. Thank you. Actually, I'm not going to introduce anybody. I'm going to go around the room and let you tell us where you're from. Painters, just painters only that are in the show. So we're going to start with Alana.
Hello, I'm Alana, and I'm from Wausau.
There you are, in the corner.
Again, I'm Kara, I'm from Stetsonville.
Kara has two paintings right here and here.
Benji from New Orleans.
I'm Eva, and I'm from Chicago suburbs.
I'm Olivia from Houstonburg, Wisconsin.
Where?
Houstonburg.
Say that 3 times.
Houstonburg.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Okay.
Stacy from New York.
I'm Matthew. I'm from, I'm originally from Saukville, Wisconsin, but I'm from California, basically. You know, mostly the Saukville route. And Pam is Wisconsinite as well, my painting. It's all about Wisconsin.
And you've met Elena. And you know, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Burikina.
Burikina.
Yes, right.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you. Thank you all. Great show.
Thank you.
That was the speech in its entirety, so we hope you enjoyed it. The main reason we recorded it is it's one of the things we do to volunteer, and a lot of our art friends, they couldn't be there, so they wanted to know what was going on. So we recorded the whole thing, and we thought we'd share it with everybody just so you could see what's going on along with them. So we hope you enjoyed this and learned a little bit about an artist's opening / reception. This was at the Wausau Museum of Contemporary Art, the International Biennial Portrait Competition, 2023. Get some, I don't know. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Once again, Not sponsored.